Look, gang, you know how important privacy is. That's why this episode is sponsored by NordVPN. Head on over to nordvpn.com/rogue, spell it right, ROGUE, and hopefully you'll never find out what I'm up to. I'm trying to solve this.
Fishing in a swimming pool.
Okay, that's how you described it the first time you caught me drinking a non-alcoholic beer.
Is it? I hope you had forgotten that.
Nope. 20 years.
Okay.
Mind like a steel trap.
Yeah, okay. So mocktails deserve a little bit more respect.
Yeah, no, it's like fishing in an awesome pond where there are no fish.
And we're back with award-winning beverage director Erin Ashford at Olame. You were going to teach us how to make a mocktail.
Yes, so mocktails are really popular right now. I think a big part of it is because our drinking culture has changed. So many people have chosen not to drink or have taken a break from drinking, or you just kind of want to stagger your drinking throughout the night so that there's more longevity to your night.
Now, occasionally I'll have like a non-alcoholic IPA, and I really like the bitterness. Like, I want it to be a challenge to drink. Is that a hallmark of a mocktail? Because otherwise, like, if a mocktail is just a non-boozy drink, I'll just have a Diet Coke or something.
Right, so I think that's the biggest thing with mocktails is like, what are you looking for? Do you want something that mimics a cocktail, or do you want something that doesn't taste like alcohol at all because you're not interested in that? But there are a lot of like non-alcoholic canned cocktails and aperitifs that really mimic cocktails. So one is Jafar. They make this non-alcoholic aperitif that mimics like a Campari. So their goal is if you are trying to do lower ABV or avoid alcohol, you can use this instead. So we can do two different ones today. I feel like one kind of mimics more what would be an alcoholic drink, and then one mimics more like an agua fresca. So I think the best thing with mocktails is to pick a structure, like a Tom Collins is the easiest one. So it'll be spirit, citrus, sugar, topped with bubbles.
So spirit, citrus, sugar, topped with bubbles, but the spirit's gonna be something else.
Yeah, so that spirit can be anything else you want it to be, really. It can be water, which is the easiest one. But if you're already gonna use sparkling water at the end, maybe it needs to be something more exciting. Maybe it's more citrus. Maybe it's a kombucha. And again, that does have trace amounts of alcohol, so depends what you're looking for. Some people don't even want bitters in their mocktail. That has trace amounts of alcohol as well.
Well, like sometimes I'll do just a diet tonic water just because it's so bitter. Like the spirits tend to have that bite that lets me know I'm drinking, I guess.
Right, so how are you getting that bite? How are you getting that like bittering agent? How are you getting kind of that herbaceous, grassy note that different spirits bring? So luckily there are a lot of companies, if that is what you're looking for that bite. And we have one in Austin called Slow Luck. And they're trying to do a cross between a vodka meets gin meets tequila. So if you just take the spirit out of a cocktail, you could easily plug that in and it tastes similar.
Wow. So can we have a little tiny taste?
Yeah, so this was created by a couple bartenders in town. When the espresso martini was making a comeback, they thought, could you make a non-alcoholic espresso martini? So they created this non-alcoholic spirit. That way you don't have to use as much juice in your mocktails, because that's a big thing is mocktails, you're using a lot of citrus, and that can be time consuming or costly. So how do you lengthen the drink without using, 4+ ounces of grapefruit juice?
And it's booze that's not booze.
Booze that not booze.
I didn't even know this was a thing.
Are you getting almost like a meaty kind of barbecue aftertaste?
No, I'm getting a cleaning product aftertaste. It's got that gin effervescence,
Yeah.
It's almost peppery, right? Okay, so how does this taste in a mocktail?
So I really like it two ways in a mocktail. One, I'm gonna do the non-alcoholic spirit with watermelon juice, lime, simple syrup, and sparkling water. So this one's kind of like an agua fresca. I'm gonna do a tahini rim. Doing different salt rims is a really fun way to spice up your mocktails. That way there's something a little more interesting going on.
A question of etiquette. Whenever I get a salted rim like that, at what point is it inappropriate for me to be licking like all the way up the side of the drink?
It's like a Labrador.
So that is the purpose. It may feel weird, but the best way to salt a rim, you don't want it on the top of the rim, which is kind of an old school bartender thing that we kind of finessed out to what it is now. All the salt that you put on the top of the rim, if you're doing that, which is old school, it all just falls in, falls on the table. You don't really taste it, it's messy. So this is a cleaner way to do it, which is to put it on the outside of the glass. And so it is meant to be licked and then sip the drink. And so it is part of it. So the best way to do that is with a lime wheel and kind of do it in a swoop motion to where you're kind of getting like a round formation.
Yep.
And then that'll be the formation of the salt. So it looks pretty, it's utilitarian, it's less messy.
I'm so happy to hear this. I have felt like such a nerd, like look left, look right.
Yeah, that is how you do it. So with this one, I want to do the base. Like I said, we're going to do it 2 different ways. I do want to use this non-alcoholic base. If you did have seed lip or another kind of clear non-alcoholic spirit, that would work perfectly well in this, because I know this one is pretty local. If you didn't do this, you could change it up with a different juice maybe, or even just add more sparkling water at the end.
Do they have other types like, oh, I want something that is a faux rye whiskey?
They do. So not this company in particular, but there's another company called Spiritless, and they do a lot like that. Like a lot of companies are trying to mimic, oh, this is what a whiskey would taste like if there's no alcohol. Kind of tastes like tea.
Because if I can drink scotch without drinking scotch,
I know. That's the dream, is to drink, but you don't get drunk. So then in each one, I'm gonna do a different melon. With the tahini, I like the watermelon juice. So I did 2 ounces of the spirit-free spirit, 1.5 ounces of melon. Now I'm gonna do the same thing for each drink. So it's the same exact build, just different melon juices.
And which one is this one?
And then this is gonna be honeydew. So this will be a lighter, more garden eccentric drink versus the watermelon's gonna be a little more savory with the tahini, more like Texas summer. And then to add kind of a rounder flavor to it, I'm gonna put lime juice in each one. Like I said, citrus on its own, like grapefruit or watermelon or any kind of lighter citrus, really needs the support of lemon and lime. They're utilitarian and they're in every cocktail for a reason. They are the base note that really carries the drink. So adding lime, just a 1/4 ounce to this, will really bring out the flavor of the melon. And then sugar. Every cocktail or mocktail needs sugar.
And this is just a simple syrup?
Yes. So this is just sugar and water cooked down together. And you can do that by doing equal parts. So this is a 1-to-1, just a cup of sugar to a cup of water cooked in the saucepan till it melts, let it cool, and then that's your syrup. So then when we finish it is kind of where it stands out of the difference of the 2, besides the different melons. So I'm gonna top these with just regular cubed ice. Any kind of ice cube tray in your fridge will do. And then...
And this is one of those weird cases where, like with a whiskey, you might want to water it down, so you're taking your time, but it's a mocktail, so you want to preserve the flavor as much as you can.
Yes, and since these ingredients are so light, so that's a good thing to keep in mind is what is in it. Like watermelon juice is basically water. So you don't want a ton of water to add to the watermelon. So you want to keep it light. You wouldn't want to stir it a bunch. We can top it with sparkling water, which I'm going to do, but it just adds some effervescence. It doesn't necessarily dilute it more than the ice already is. So you want to stir it just once around. That way the mixture gets combined. It's also a good opportunity to add more ice, but I like to wait and add ice at the end once I add the modifier or sparkling component at the end.
This is just for bubbles.
Just for bubbles and also to cut through the sweetness. So like a lot of cocktails, when we tasted them before they were diluted, same thing with these mocktails. They might taste really sweet right now without something else to kind of cut through it, give it that bubbly component, make it more refreshing. This is a long drink, so I would serve them with a straw. But even if you're sipping it through the glass like a gin and tonic, it's meant to be sipped. It's meant to be drank long, which is like a long, slower sip, versus like something that's in a coupe glass, which is, you know, more zippy and more of a quick sip.
How much of these are to pull out the aromatics?
Yeah, a lot of it. I would say, so in this one, since I'm gonna add sparkling water to the watermelon one, this is more to cut through the sweetness. It's just plain mineral sparkling water. It's not gonna add a ton of aromatics or flavor. What I was depending on for that was the tahini rim, or for the garnish that I choose, which on this one, I want the aromatics to be like a bright herb, like mint. So mint is a good one, rosemary, even sage or thyme, anything that gives you that on the nose, because if you're gonna taste the salt rim, drink it through the straw, then you have the herb in your nose and it's all kind of like really aromatic and bright. So I would do mint in that one for aromatics. But then I would do ginger beer in the honeydew to really bring it out, because honeydew is very light. So ginger beer, while it's really gingery and you don't want to do too much, but there was only a little bit of room, probably like an ounce, ounce and a half. And I would give them a good stir. And then this one, the ginger beer will bring out the aromatics of the honeydew. It will taste more green and fresh and garden-like. And then for that one, you could do maybe like some lime wheels or just something really simple that fills the glass and looks pretty. And then those are two really interesting mocktails that kind of set you up and above a Diet Coke or an iced tea.
Oh, definitely. And it's something that encourages you to take your time and work through.
Yeah.
So if I read it right, we want some kind of non-alcoholic base. We're going to add some various melon juices. We're going to pull out some of the flavor with bubbly stuff, right? You have an abundance of mint that's going to give you a powerful aromatic experience, whereas I loves me some ginger beer. Any of that hard bite is going to make me happy.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to give it a try?
Yes. Hey, this one has the salt on it. Do you want to do that one instead?
Well, that one, I'm familiar with the taste of watermelon. I don't really dig it. It's too sweet for me.
Okay.
But I'm hoping that the ginger beer is going to cut off the... I actually don't know what honeydew melon tastes like.
Oh, and
So
you
this is
love
gonna be an
ginger beer.
Yeah. All right, here we go. I was about to do the face again. Wow! You're mocking me, but I don't care. That's fine.
No, this is interesting and complex, and it is hard for me to believe that it is a mocktail, because you've got that spicy bite right up front that hits you right along with the mint, and then you've got this really refreshing flavor, and it is a long drink. It is something that I feel like I'd sit out on that beautiful deck out there and just savor it on a summer day.
Now the honeydew is fairly subtle, but I'm told that there's no wrong way, you know, the way you like to drink a drink is the right way to drink it or whatever. But would it be gauche for me to top it off with more ginger beer after having a little bit? Because I really dig.
Yeah, if you like the
bite.
ginger beer and want more, that's great. I mean, it's there, especially if you buy, like, these are Fever Tree ginger beers and they're little 8-ounce bottles. You're only using an ounce and a half, so you should top it off as you go, especially if you love that bite.
He just wants to drink ginger beer.
And the honeydew, apparently. I'm learning. Meanwhile, where can we learn more of your stuff?
You can follow me on Instagram at Erin Katie, and otherwise, if you're local or visiting Austin, I'm at Olamay Restaurant.
Come by and see her, and if you guys have some of your own mocktails and additions that you like to try, put them in the comments. Maybe we'll give them a shot.
Requests. Crazy requests.
Yes.
We'll make it happen.
Fish sauce.
Not sensible requests.
Barbecue
We're gonna do
sauce.
just drink Worcestershire sauce. There's a lot of things you could do inside the bathroom. You could sign a peace treaty. You could negotiate an alliance. You could solve a Rubik's Cube. You could form a union, like over email, getting your friends onto. The point is, you're not doing anything wrong in the bathroom. Just do us one favor, lock the dang door, and that's what they let you do with our friends over at NordVPN.com. You could finish today's Wordle. I could be contemplating my thoughts. I could be contemplating other people's thoughts. Could be pooping. Just head on over to NordVPN.com/rogue, spell it right, ROGUE, and you'll get 2 years at a huge discount plus 1 month free. They've got everything. They got your 30-day money-back guarantee. They got your best-in-class encryption. We're talking about encryption so good it penetrates the Great Firewall of China. We're talking about anti-extradition locations in Panama, for crying out loud. They wrote a song about it. Oh, I hear you. What if Panama turns over the logs? Ha ha! NordVPN don't keep no logs. You know who does keep logs? Hoarders. Weird hoarders. Hoarding logs. You don't want to be no weird log hoarder. All right, let's get real for a second. There's going to be a giant cybersecurity awareness campaign, and while everyone else is going to visualize it with somebody in a hoodie and a bunch of ones and zeros in front of a laptop, I don't want you thinking about none of that. I want you to be thinking about me solving a Rubik's Cube on the toilet. Why? Because I didn't lock the door. What could I have done to lock the door? Go to NordVPN.com/rogue. Use promo code ROGUE, ROGUE. Get a big old discount and all the encryption you need. Cybersecurity. Whew. I feel relieved. Glad we had this talk. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm just reminded of why I lock the door every time I come in here, because can't. It's because of how stinky my Rubik's skills are. I could be logging into my bank account. I could be logging into my credit cards. I could be logging into unlogging examples. I could be firing off hot, painful tweets. I could be on. This is the same thing.
Modern Rogue is supported in part by viewers like you at patreon.com/modernrogue. In the description, you can find all of our credits and additional ways to support the show.
I noticed that you used different types of straws here. Is there a reason?
More just aesthetic.
It's because she hates me and gave me a paper straw. She loves you and gave you a real straw.
That's just a Pixie 6 straw. You're going to pull it out and it's just going to be soggy.
That's true. Paper straws do get soggy. They look really pretty and you are saving the earth, but they do get soggy.